College football is back. So we're back to have a little fun with a G5 draft.
Hey, welcome back to the Big Mountain. As you can see, we're quad boxed. We've got Steve there in Happy Valley. I'm in the studio. We've got two special guests with us. Bill, that college football guy, he has his own YouTube channel. Make sure you check him out. And we also have Stephen Vitt. He has his own YouTube channel as well, Bobcat Corner for the Ohio Bobcats. And we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to do a G5 draft. We did a draft last summer. We're going to do another one. Before we get into it, Bill, Steven, I'll let you guys say hello.
Oh, hello, everybody. It's Bill, that college football guy. Well, some of you who do know me, I'm small YouTuber, nowhere near as big as the Big Mountain, but love talking college football, love talking with all of you, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun with this one.
Definitely.
Hey guys, this is Stephen Vitt. I have a YouTube channel, obviously a small channel called STV Castle, with one of the series that I run is called Bobcat Corner, which features, of course, the Ohio Bobcats and college football topics in general.
Very, very good. Well, here's what we're going to do. I'll just give a real quick overview for everybody, and we're going to get right to it. So the rules are all non-P4 teams are available. So it doesn't matter what conference you're in. It doesn't matter if you're an independent. Nothing matters as long as the team is not currently a part of the Power Four. They are available for the draft. The other issue we're going to have, we're going to put a small item here that we can only be in 3 different time zones. So we can't have a Big Ten type of conference where you have Eastern and Western time zones. The limitation for all of our commissioners here is to be in 3 time zones. If you watched our other draft, we did this whole contiguous state thing. We're not going to do that. We're going to just have fun. And we started out with a random generator. So we could not plan this. All of us are coming into this completely unprepared, other than, we've ranked, I'm sure you all have ranked who you kind of want, but we really have no clue which way we're headed. So I am the maybe fortunate or unfortunate one to get things kicked off. My number was picked to pick first. And of course, I have 2 schools that I've really been thinking about. Steve, did you want to say something?
Before we get started, JY, I just have one question, though, for you.
Okay.
Just to clarify. When you say independent schools, does Notre Dame count in that? Or are we talking about the small?
Notre Dame, in my opinion, is an ACC school. So Notre Dame will be, otherwise, I'd be picking Notre Dame. That's an easy number 1. But yes, Notre Dame is unavailable. UConn, UMass, they would be available.
Just wanted to make sure all the hundreds of thousands of viewers understood before we get started.
Good clarification. Thank you. So I'm going to pick first, and I'm going to do it. I'm going Homer. If anybody knows our channel, they know I'm the Mountain West guy, and I'm doing this for fun, and I'm taking the best, in my opinion, G5 football team in the country. They have a runner-up for Heisman. They have making the CFP for the first time you can ever do it. The wonderful Boise State Broncos, #1 pick off the board in my conference, and I love it.
Yeah, I mean, one of the hottest teams in the country. I don't blame you.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. All right, so the order is going to now go to Steven, and then Steve, and then Bill, and we'll do a snake draft. So Bill will get that double dip on the wraparound. So Steven is now on the clock, as they say.
Okay, now I know many people are going to think that, I follow the Ohio Bobcats and I'm just going to pick them. Well, I am going to pick a team called the Bobcats, but I mean the Texas State Bobcats.
Ooh,
Love it.
I like that pick.
A school that we follow somewhat closely on the Big Mountain, the Texas State Bobcats, and they may be potentially moving conferences here not too long. But the state of Texas is it's a hot commodity, and that's a great pick, Stephen. All right, Steve, Mr. Where are you going?
Oh man, this is hard. Steven threw me a little curveball there. I was worried I was gonna. JY I figured was going Boise. I just knew just Boise. And I wasn't sure if I'd be behind Bill or Steven. I gotta go I think there's two or three really valuable teams at this point. But I'm going to go with the one that gives me the most flexibility. Hopefully, JY doesn't kill me. This is why I'm not sitting beside him tonight because I'm going with UNLV,
Ooh.
Wow. No, that actually totally surprises me right there, Steve.
which leaves Bill with some awesome. He's got this double here, and there's a lot of value on the board.
Yeah, it is, but that three time zones means you can't go Eastern if you hit Pacific first.
Well, so yeah, if I go Pacific, yeah. So UNLV in the Mountain West. So I got flexibility right now, though. I can go either way.
No,
Okay.
UNLV's in the West time zone, Steve.
Oh,
You were locked out of the East.
oh, I thought they were in the Mountain.
No, they're
Uh-uh.
Pacific time
No,
zone.
Pacific.
Oh boy.
And I'm not being a nice guy. I think that's lack of planning. And so
Wow.
we could call up to Toronto. I'm an NHL guy, but it doesn't matter because you made your pick. And I'm sorry, Steve. I'm being really mean. It's Bill's turn. He's on the clock.
Hey, I got a double here.
Wow, that definitely threw me for a curveball. Holy cow. All right. Well, this pick, I'm gonna have to make this one because I have work with a lot of Tigers alumni, and I probably get punted in the head if I didn't make it. And that would be the Memphis Tigers. I think they're going to be a great addition. That's the first of the two picks. I think they'll be a great addition. Now, for the wraparound, I know it's going to be a long time till I pick again. I'm going to do something a little bit out of order here because I'm thinking about the best G5. We're talking about everything, not just football. And G5s make their money, we know, on the media deals, but they also make money on the NCAA tournament. That is so very valuable. So for that instance, I'm taking the Yukon Huskies. Their football will be developing and adding them for basketball, all encompassing with Memphis basketball. I think I got a little start there, plus a little bit of football. So that should be a good, nice little start.
Well, Bill, I'll tell you, Memphis was the one I was kind of back and forth with Boise. That's who I was debating. So, all right, he takes Memphis and UConn. That's a heck of a start for the college football guys conference. And we're back to Steve.
JY, you know what I say? You got to be in the state of Texas. For all, starting a new conference, adding a conference, have to be in the state of Texas. I am going with UTSA as my pick two, second round pick.
All right, be serious. Did Steven mess you up a little bit?
With Texas State?
Yeah.
No, I
Okay.
had UTSA. I'm both of them. I like both of them, but I had
Okay.
UTSA as my number one school for the state of Texas.
Okay. Very good. All right, Mr. Bobcat, you're up.
Okay, I'm going to go east this time. And yeah, I think it's a solid pick here. I'm just going to go with it. Going to go with the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers.
Ooh. They were on my list.
That is a good pick as well. I got to find where I have them on. There they are. I probably did my list completely backwards, but that's okay. All right, I get the wrap now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I am going to take maybe a little surprise they're here for me, and I'm happy to take them. I will be taking, I hate their mascot, freaking hate it, but I'm taking Tulane. The mascot looks like a kindergartner drew it. I'm sorry for all of you that like it. I don't get it, but we're not here for mascots. So I am taking out of the central time zone Tulane. So now I am in central and mountain, and I'm not really sure which way I want to go. So for my wraparound pick, you guys you're scaring me with the state of Texas. So I feel like I need to go to Texas as well. There's only so many left to be had. So I will be taking North Texas out of Texas because I concur, like we have always said, you got to be in Texas. So maybe a little ahead of where I had them on my list, but the envelope's being pushed slightly. So that's why I'm taking North Texas right now. All right, who are we back to here? Steven, you are up.
Okay, so I can go back to the state of Texas myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how does UTEP sound?
Ooh, nice.
Texas El Paso.
Sounds really nice.
And apparently so far I've not been good with my time zones, but if I remember from our multiple shows we did about UTEP, they're one of the few schools in Texas that's in the mountain time zone.
That is correct.
You got it. So Stephen has planted his flag in the east and the central and the mountain, if I'm not mistaken. So
Mhm.
Okay. All right, so I'm up, right?
yep.
Okay, so this one's it's gonna be um let's see here. It's something I definitely did not plan on, but we've talked about what happened with the pack. That was one of our first shows when we first started this, and how the pack fell apart. Two schools got left behind. Oregon State and Washington State, the Beavs and the Cougs. Can't leave them behind again. So I'm going with this pick. I'm going Oregon State.
Mm.
I'm a Beaver believer.
Yeah, and I should have mentioned, I don't think I said we're going to be taking 12 teams per conference here. So Bill, you are now on your third pick to end round 3.
Well, I'm everybody is everywhere, so this is definitely need a scorecard to keep up with this one. So next pick here, I'm going like, okay, I need to get something here that's kind of has some value here. Football, a little bit of basketball, media. So I'm going to, and a brand new, beautiful stadium they're getting. I'm taking South Florida. I think they're going to be a great addition to this conference. And for the next pick after that is going to surprise some people. I've had a chance to, I haven't had a chance to been there yet. They're on my bucket list to go watch a game there, but unfortunately, I don't have the time to do it. But they're kind of, I've been seeing from the videos of an SEC type atmosphere. And in the state of North Carolina, I'm going with East Carolina to add to the conference.
2 excellent picks there, sir. I like both of those.
JY, so far, Bill is building what I'll call the 2031 Atlantic Coast Conference.
Possibly.
All right, back at you, Steve.
Okay, back at me. You know what? I'm going to keep the trend going. I'm going to stick with my pattern here, not leaving them behind. I'm taking the Cougs, going Washington State.
All right, nice pick. Steve is reforming the Mountain West in a way, or the new Pac-12, depending on which way you want to look at it.
Well, I always thought there should be a merger between a real merger between the Mountain West and the Pac. So, JY couldn't keep Boise from him because the guy gets the first darn pick, but
All right, Steven, you are up for round 4 here.
Okay, fourth pick. I am gonna go to the Mid-American Conference for this next pick. But my team is gonna have to wait again because I'm gonna go to a good market. It's in the state of Illinois, Northern Illinois Huskies. They're going to be joining the Mountain West, but right now they're still in the MAC.
Nice.
I like everything you guys are doing. That's a good pick. I was thinking about getting them on my turn here. So I have to wrap up, let's see, round 4. And since Steve has kind of forced my hand, in my opinion, taking both the Beavers and the Cougars, if I could have gotten one of them, I would have fought him for some of the Western teams. But I'm not going to do that. I am actually going to go east with my third time zone. And I'm going to take a school that they always seem to do really well in football, and up and down here more recently, but I think they make a nice addition to my list, and that's Appalachian State.
Mm.
Nice. They were on my list. I was hoping to get them next round.
I
So look
had
I
at
them
that.
on my list too.
know when you went ECU, I actually thought maybe you were going Appy State.
I was considering it, but I was like, no, I've I like the atmosphere. I like the way the games are go there, and I'm like, okay, this they have the potential to be something special. Appy State's a little bit further behind, but they could catch up in a hurry and be a juggernaut.
Call me crazy, but I think in the next decade, it's a possibility we could see both of those teams in an ACC or some kind of a higher conference.
Mm-hmm. Definitely possible.
All right. Well, I get to do my wrap around here. Starting round 5, I'm going to go back to the Central. And while I do have Tulane, I'm going to go for another Louisiana school. Maybe a little similar to the pick of Appy State. I'm going to go with Louisiana. I'm going the Raging Cajuns. Again, another school I just feel like does more with less. And yeah, I mean, when you look at my 3 of my schools, I'm pretty central located there in the South. So sorry, Boise. Right now you got a lot of travel, but don't worry. I'll get him a travel partner. Don't worry.
Hey, the Boise still right now with they're looking good for competing for that CFP spot every year, so they're good.
Yep. All right, Steven, round 5.
Okay, round 5, I might as well do it. I think they've waited long enough. I'm just going to say it. Ohio Bobcats. Yeah.
Gotta
They
stay
are
true
the
to
they are
colors.
the defending MAC champions.
Yes, they are.
All right, JY, I got to connect this thing together, and hopefully, I didn't do enough time zone studying, obviously ahead of, but I'm pretty sure the Air Force is in the Mountain Time Zone, and I'm going to go ahead and lock them in as my connector. Uh, Brings a lot of value, I think, as a one of the service academies, perfect for the conference I'm building, perfect for honestly, I think other than JY Steel and Boise. I'm building the premier football conference west of the Mississippi here, and I need Air Force to be that connection point.
Nice. Oh my. Well, I'm got everybody going everywhere. Jeez. Well, I'm gonna do a different, my own little double dip here, but it's gonna be in the state of Virginia.
Oh.
Um, both of them have been in football, and ironically, I did some research on this one. Both of them actually have been in basketball as well. First pick, we're talking about JMU, James Madison. Bring them in for their success in the Sun Belt, and also, which I looked this up, didn't realize it. In the last, I think, 5 or 6 tournaments, they have three. This is not James Madison. The next one has three NCAA tournament appearances. Ironically, that's Liberty.
Mm.
So I'm gonna for basketball and for football, I'm bringing in James Madison and Liberty into this conference.
Very nice. Loving that Eastern time zone work here.
You
All
got
right.
Dirty South plus UConn.
That's right. All right, Steve, 6th pick. Where you
Okay.
think you're going?
Well, JY, after, I always say we got to be in Texas, but also, uh, the next state I always say is you got to be in Florida. Well, due to my bad time zone studying, I'm not going to get into Florida. So the third state that I need to be in is the state of California. I'm going San Diego State University.
Yep, struggling a little bit on the football field. We obviously know what they did on the basketball court here just a few years ago. Really, the kind of them and UNM being the top 2 basketball schools. I know that could upset some Aggie fans and Bronco fans, but really the Lobos and the Aztecs are the Mountain West top of the class there. They just got to figure it out on the football field. We'll see what happens. But they got in Southern Florida markets, for G5, it's all you got right there. So that's a huge pick.
Yeah, Southern California market, and then the stadium. Honestly, I think the investment there, one of the best stadiums in the G5. They just got to figure out, do they have the right coach in place? They need to bring in the talent so they can bring in the fans.
Yep. Yep. All right, Steven for his sixth pick.
Okay. Yep. I think I'm going to go out west again to the mountain time zone. And I think this team has not been called yet, so I'm going to try for this. Colorado State Rams.
Steven, you did it to me twice here. You're
Really?
you're doing great. I was thinking NIU last go around, and you took them, and this go around, since Steve took Air Force, I'm like, oh, I got to get the Rams, and no, I can't get the Rams because Steven's taking them. Good pick. Beautiful new football stadium there. I got to get more wins in that stadium. I did well this year, but they got to keep that going for sure.
That stadium, the backdrop there, that's a crown jewel for any conference, showing games on TV for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's beautiful.
All right, well, let me pick my sixth pick, and then we'll put up a slide here real quick, just to because we'll be at the halfway mark. But I'm going to take here, we were just talking about the powerhouse of the Mountain West in basketball. Wish Bronco would have stayed with this school here going for another year, but I'm excited with what they have going. A lot of strong transfers coming in to UNM, the Lobos. Just so much to like. They just need some consistency there on the football side of things for leadership, and I think the sky's the limit. We've already seen what they can do on the court in Albuquerque, so very happy to take UNM as my sixth pick. I'm not sure if they're close enough to be a travel partner with Boise, but they're in the same time zone. I'll give them that. So with that here, let me throw up a slide real quick, and then we'll get on with the second half of the draft. All right, we are back halfway through the draft, going on to pick number 7. And I just feel like, I'm going to do it. Steve can laugh at, y'all can laugh at me because I'm going straight homer on this. It's as close as I can get to Boise, I believe. No, it's not as close. I could take Utah State, but I'm not taking Utah State. I'm taking the Wyoming Cowboys because I have to.
Yeah, I mean we're in the back half of the draft. You're filling in pieces now. The first half is to get your all stars, and the back half of the draft is to get those character positions filled. And I mean that's Wyoming.
I didn't want you to steal them from me, Steve. That's something I feel like you would have done. So I gotta make sure I get them in the JY conference here.
I get that.
All right, Steven, off to you now.
Well, this is a team that obviously that gives me fits because I'm a Ohio Bobcats fan and we have a rivalry with this team. Know them well. Miami of Ohio Redhawks.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. Solid, solid team in the MAC for years, and what you're building there, kind of like central part of the country with a little bit of flavor, here and there. I think they go real good in that conference. Okay, JY, it's
What?
my turn, and I've been listening to you talk for 2 years about the premier West Coast Conference or football conference west of the Mississippi. So I've, they haven't been able to get it done yet, so I'm going to build it. I have a couple schools that I'm really thinking about here, but I'm glad. So I get 2 picks before you get to pick again. Uh, so I think I'm going to pick one that I've been more of a fan of probably than you, a program. Um, but again, I think being in California, it's really, really important with what I'm building, the conference I'm building. So I'm taking another California school. I'm going Fresno State. I just think having those, the 2 teams in California, I think is really important for the type of conference that I'm building here.
They have maybe one of the best fan bases to turn up for home football games. I mean, their attendance is amazing. A lot of Bulldog lovers, and they show their support by coming out and buying tickets, and that's what you got to do. So great pick, Garrett Classy, friend of the channel, on the Mount Rushmore. Shout out. All right, we're the Bill on the Rappy round.
Well, I don't think Steven's going to like this one because I'm poaching from his state of Ohio, but they have the potential to also be something special. They've been very good in the MAC and against other teams. I love the market. Got to go with the Rockets of Toledo for the next pick and to do the, my goodness, next round of the draft. Little different one here. Going a little out of order what I thought I was going to do since of everybody else's lovely picks. But I think another program that has had success. Unfortunately, they recently had a coaching change, but I think they could be once again become very good. And we're talking about Marshall from state of West Virginia.
I bet I wouldn't be surprised if that would have been Steven's very next pick.
Most likely it would have been.
We're all thinking the same because I love both of those picks. So good on you, Bill.
All right, am I back on the clock?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so again, my turn again, and I'm building this, football conference west of the Mississippi. I've got into California, I got into Texas, I got those two great programs up in the Pacific Northwest. I got Air Force. I'm loving where I'm at right now. I think a good kind of connector school to kind of just fill things out. I'm going with Utah State Aggies. I don't believe they've been taken yet. They were mentioned. Probably JY was thinking about them next. But I think for what I'm building, they're just the perfect connector there. Get in the state of Utah. I think it's important. I'd love to have the Utes, but they got that call up to the Big 12. So for me, and BYU got the call up to the Big 12. So for me to get it, I think it's important to get in the state of Utah. I got into Colorado with Air Force. I won in Utah. I'm going with Utah State, the Aggies.
It's another good pick. All right, Steven, who are you going to take for me this time?
Would it be crazy for me to say that I can go back to the state of Texas one more time?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Nope.
I'm thinking it too.
Well, how does Sam Houston State sound?
Ooh.
Very interesting. Up and coming program.
They would have been in my next four picks. So nice job, Steven. He poaches for me after I poach for him. Nice.
Yes, very good pick. And I'll tell you what, got a football program that is starting to win some games. I mean, they played really well this past year. I think they're looking to do the same thing again coming up here in 25. So, well, you guys have me on all kinds of tilt. So that's what makes this fun. And, we talk about certain states that you have to be in, and I'm very central and south, and certainly not a premier Florida school, but I do feel like I need to get a school in the state of Florida, so I'm going to be going to FAU, Florida Atlantic University.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice pick, JY. They would have been my next one because for basketball, I mean, 3 tournament appearances, been in the Final Four. That's wow.
Yep. There was only a few left, and basketball, I mean, they hit. I mean, here at 8, I'm pretty happy with getting them there. Probably a little early on my cowpokes, but homer pick. Okay. So I'm wondering if this is the time, and I think it is. I'm doing it. I'm going to make some people really happy, and I'm going to make some people like, what the heck are you doing? But I'm doing it. I'm taking North Dakota State University. FCS is joining my FBS conference.
Okay.
But they're way up there in no man's land. They have no travel partner for me either because I didn't get Northern Illinois.
Hey, I'll be honest, JY, I think in year 1, they'd be fighting with Boise for the conference championship. I think when they do make the jump, and you and I talk about this all the time with the Mountain West and real college football. I think they can when they jump up, they're going to be able to compete. And you can't always say that. I mean, Appy State, similar to like an Appy State, they're going to be able to compete when they jump up.
Yeah, I just made a whole bunch of FBS fan bases, all of the ones that we haven't picked yet. Yeah, I just made them really angry. But that's okay.
Yeah.
All right, Steven, you're up.
Okay, I think I've done enough in the state of Texas for one day. So let's just go a little bit north, and that means the state of Oklahoma.
Mhm.
How does Tulsa sound?
Ooh, nice.
I'm liking your footprint, Steven.
Mhm.
I had a game plan.
Clearly. I don't think I did. Or if I did, it left long ago.
Okay, so it looks like I'm back on the clock, and I got two picks here before JY can pick again. And sometimes I just like to mess with JY. Let's see here. Actually, um, I think actually I'm going to go with a school. I don't even think you could. You're locked out of the Pacific, right, JY?
Yes, you were the only one in the Pacific.
Yeah, I'm out there. So I'm actually I have a couple schools of mine that would mess with him, but he can't take him anyway. So I'm going to go somewhere else. Actually, no one has picked Troy yet, correct?
Correct.
I'm
Nope.
going,
Nope.
I'm going with Troy. I think just, uh, connecting that area with Texas, with my UTSA in there, just kind of build strength in that area of the country. Being that I'm over, I can't get into the Eastern time zone. I think that's my best bet to build some strength down in that area.
Wow. Amazing pick. There were going to be my next one. So now I've got to totally change things up and I'm going to make Steve mad
Oh,
because I'm doing the military double dip. I'm taking Navy and Army. Both of those
Yeah,
schools are for the traditional rivalry and D5 viewership. They are the top of the food chain. So I got to add those two into the conference here for now.
Bill, I'm glad you're doing it. There's a ton of value there. And the thing, honestly, my plan got a little derailed when I failed to study and realized that UNLV was in the Pacific time zone, because I had a big part of my plan of building my conference was the three military schools. And I had to change some things a little bit, but I think they bring a ton of value. I mean, just the viewership numbers when they play each other, obviously, but still they get good viewership numbers no matter who they play and just have a national following. So you got a good kind of regional following in the Southeast, but you added some national programs as well. Okay, so I'm back on the clock here.
Mhm.
All right. I'm in a really interesting position here because there's some West Coast teams that I like, but I know JY can't get over there. I don't think, yeah, I'm the only one that can go there, so I can basically save those teams for my last couple picks. So is there any value here that I can find? Um, let's see. So, hmm, I think I might pick an FCS school as well, J1. I think this is going to be even more out of the realm here of normalcy. I'm going to do something crazy. I'm going to back up my big talk that I've been talking, giving Gloria advice on our show. I'm going to go back into the state of Texas. I think a lot. I mean, there's already been a lot of value schools taken out of the state of Texas. I'm going FCS. And I'm going Tarleton State right here
Wow.
for that
My
pick
goodness,
because
Steve.
I just think there's such a great growth opportunity over the next 10 years. I think they're going to make the jump when they do. They're not the splashy school, like Sac State. And I love Sac State. I love Dr. Wood and his brother and what they're doing. They're not making that splash, but to me, they should be a school that everybody is talking about with that move from FCS to FBS. So I'm putting them in my G5 conference. I want Tarleton State.
I didn't see that coming.
All right.
All right, Steven, you're up.
well, I'm gonna head out east again because right now I just have Coastal Carolina just sitting there all by themselves way out there. So I got to get closer to them somehow. And I know just a team that can do it. State of Georgia, Georgia State.
You did it again, Stephen. I literally wrote them down as my next pick. Oh, that's a great pick. That's a great pick. Yeah. Yep.
Atlanta area market. Yep.
100%. All right. Well, that was gonna be a pick. It can't be now. So we are going to go with, oh, yes. What are we gonna do? Well, I only have one Texas school. I don't, unless I missed this. Rice has not been picked, correct?
Correct.
The
Correct.
Rice Owls. I feel like I need two schools in Texas. I have two schools in Louisiana. So we're going to pick Rice in the bottom of the 10th. And then another school, I think, I feel like this would be a school that maybe Bill kind of had on his radar for late pick here. He'll have to tell me if I'm right or wrong. But I like the location. And I think they have some things going for them. I'm going to go Western Kentucky.
Mm.
Yeah, that was one of my next two picks. Good job.
I kind of thought Bill had his eye eventually on Western Kentucky. There's another school too, and that, well, I won't say anymore. I'll tell you if you pick it. Another school that I think Bill might like. So all right. So that was the beginning of round 11.
Stephen, before you pick JY, I'll just tell you I highly considered Rice as well. I like that pick. I actually the reason I didn't I've been going with pretty much mostly public schools, and from what
Yeah.
I remember, Rice is a private school,
Yeah.
so it didn't kind of go with my theme. But I like the pick. It's good getting into there to Texas. Good value there. Now go ahead, Stephen.
Okay. Well, JY did take Western Kentucky, which was on my board. I was pretty much thinking about taking them next, but whatever. Um, the other team that was like a couple years ago rumored to possibly join the MAC but did not, that team would be Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah. That was the one I was just referring to that Bill might be interested in. So yes, I had Western Kentucky, Middle Tennessee State. They were right in this round for me. So they were right there on my list as well, Stephen.
Yeah, that rivalry, the 100 miles of hate, that gets testy at times.
All right, Steve, you going off the board again?
No, so there's some recurring themes here. We talked about getting the state of Texas, and we talked about getting the state of California, which is very important for what I'm trying to do here. I'm going with San Jose State.
Ooh, nice. I did not see that one coming.
I
Oh
think,
my goodness.
and yeah, Bill, you're going to be up next. And so just to continue my thoughts, just with my conference being mostly out west, I think just a lot of the value there being in California, being in Texas, being in the Pacific Northwest as well. But California and Texas just really important, I think. And I think G5 conferences moving forward, they really need to look for value there.
Yeah, yes, they do. Oh my goodness. Now we're at my last two picks, if my math's
Got it.
correct, right, JY?
You got it. This is it.
So
You
this
got
is
your
the
11th and 12th.
this is the closers of it. And this is where it starts getting tricky. So I'm gonna do one that's wow. Oh, I'm doing this one for it's the media market. Football, they're trying. They're really trying, not succeeding. Got a great media market. Basketball, they've been in the tournament twice in the last few years. I'm gonna go UAB, Alabama, Birmingham. For the next pick, I think they got potential to be something. Not for the last one. My goodness. A lot of options here. And I'm going to go with my original idea I had left is since FAU disappeared, the other option left is to get into the state of Pennsylvania and take Temple.
Good pick.
Yeah, great pick. A lot of value there in the Philadelphia media market. Temple, they have their ups and downs in football. When they can get a good coach, they're really really solid, but good value there, especially for your last pick in the draft. Um, All right, so with my last pick, I think I've done pretty much geographically everything I wanted to do. My last pick is something we've explored on our show, the value of that late night window. We talked about this with Bob Thompson, former Fox Sports executive. I'm going with Hawaii.
Ooh.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought you might pick them before San Jose State just because of that. A lot of value there with the eyeballs and the only game in
Hmm.
town.
Yeah, well, when I was at Tarleton, the two schools I had in mind were those two, but I knew I could wait till the end because you
Yeah.
guys were out. And yeah, the only game in town just adds a lot of just media value. That betting just can't late night betting. You can't forget about that.
I
That-
hate to rain on somebody's parade here, but isn't Hawaii in its own time zone?
So what JY said in our rules at the beginning of this, and when he sent in the email that he was going to count Hawaii as Pacific.
Okay, I was like, okay, that'd be kind of weird only having one school in its own time zone.
Another reason I saved them for last because they're just like a weird, unique situation.
Yeah. All right, Stephen, I'm anxious to hear. I'm between two schools, so you may make my decision very easy if you take one of them. So, where are you going on your
Okay.
last pick, Stephen?
Now for this last pick, this is strictly about media markets. This is about location, not because I root for them. And recently, they just hired a new head coach for their football team. You may know him. His name is Tim Albin, the Charlotte
Oh.
49ers.
Mhm.
Only picking them for their location, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Nice pick.
Nice.
I've been hearing them more and more mentioned lately, suddenly, just as far as for teams moving up in conferences and just getting some more limelight, probably because of the location, like you mentioned, Charlotte, one of the fastest has been one of the fastest growing metro areas in the country for the last 10, 15 years. So if you can get in there, it brings in TV value for sure.
All right. Well, they were not one of my two, but that is okay. I'm going to stay in the Southeast because I don't have anybody in the Northeast. So I no point in me going way up in there. And a state that I'm not in, I think it parlays pretty good with Florida. Again, in that Southeast, a lot of good football down in there. And really the highest one I have left on my board, and that's Georgia Southern, because Georgia State was taken from me a few picks ago. I did want to get into the state of Georgia, so I will be going with Georgia Southern as the last pick of our draft. So what do you guys think? Did it go what you thought? We'll do a round. Steve, obviously Steve, it didn't go as well as you thought because you thought you were gonna UNLV and Army, but what are your thoughts here, Steve?
I like how it went because I actually we didn't know the draft order until right before. And if I would have been first pick in the draft, I was actually you called it a homer pick. I was actually going to go with Boise. I think Boise has the most value of a national brand of any school not currently in the Power Four. And so I kind of thought about doing this. And then once you went Boise and I went with UNLV, I was thinking I had flexibility to go either way. But honestly, this was kind of my plan from the beginning. I love how mine ended up, and yes, I'm all west of the Mississippi, except for Troy being in Alabama. But mostly west of the Mississippi. I'm in California. I'm in the state of Texas. Those two great, formerly power programs, Oregon State and Washington State. Air Force, I gotta have for me, you gotta have a military academy. I love having a military school there. I think they bring great national value, and being those two states, California and Texas, so important. Get a little bit down into the South with Troy, and then I know there's going to be some people who are going to laugh at that Tarleton State, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is. Part of that Texas A&M system, a public school, they're investing in their facilities, and to me, that's a growth. With my 10th pick, that's a growth pick for the next 10 years. And I think when we get to 20, we'll say 2035, I think people are going to look at schools like Tarleton State a lot different than they are right now.
Very good. Well, you have what is it, about 8 or 9 schools that are either Mountain West or Pac, which of course I love. I wonder why. But man, let's go to Steven. You said you came in with a game plan, and about halfway through, I'm like, yeah, I can see your game plan, and I think it went well for you. Did it go as well as you had hoped?
I think it did maybe because of the turn order, because I knew I was going second right behind you, JY. Once I knew that, I was like, yep, I'm going right to the state of Texas. I'm not messing around. I'm just going to go there, state of Texas, and just build off from there. And once I did that, I was just clear to go. I knew the Ohio Bobcats could wait until like pick number 5. So I was like, I knew they'd be there. So yeah, filling out all the other picks, that was good. So yeah, I just like how it's all spread out, like central and then goes east a little bit. The only outlier really is like way out west, Colorado State. But other than that, it's pretty functional as far as travel goes.
Hey, I'll trade you Troy for Colorado State. We can make that.
No, I'm good.
I was thinking, I'm thinking I'll take Colorado State too. That was going to be my partner with Boise there for a nice travel partner, and then I had to call an audible there, but and pick UNM and Wyoming. So, all right, Bill. Again, I mean, I think you set up a darn good conference here. Pretty, I guess, Eastern time zone heavy for the most part. But that's where the bulk of the schools are anyway. So that obviously makes sense. How do you think it went?
I think it went rather well. For a little side note, you're picking Georgia Southern. If Temple was gone, that's where I was going to go because they're
Mm.
underrated for how good they are. But this is basically kind of like a combination of the ace of the American and the Sun Belt with a little Conference USA sprinkled in.
Yeah.
But I think it went well. It's basically concentrates on as we know, most of the people are east of the Mississippi, and a lot of value there. And hopefully, it'll end up being a good conference. But we're not going to be the judges of that.
That's right. So speaking of the judges, the commenters are going to be the judges. So we need you to rank us 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, of course, being who you think has the best conference. 4 is the loser. I'm going to throw up a slide here for a little bit so you can take a look at all of our conferences, our 12 schools in each conference. Then make sure you throw some comments down below so we know who wins this sucker. So here they are. All right, there they are. We are going to give you one last pitch of all of our conferences and the name of our conference. Bill, you get to go first.
Oh my goodness, this was a blast. A lot of fun to do. I think we got a lot of names for the G5 in here. A lot of schools that could be some great potential to be something more, as in the ACC potentially. So I think we'll call this conference the America East Conference.
Like it. All right, Steve, what are you doing?
Awesome, very fun draft. Loved where I ended up. I ended up with 5 of my top 10 programs that I wanted into this. So I'm calling this the Western Pack plus Troy.
All right, Steven, where are we going with your conference?
This is a conference filled with potential. This is a conference that has good markets. This is a conference that has teams that have had previous good history playing football. This is called the Full Throttle Conference.
Love it. Well done. Well, I'll give the last pitch. Steve said that he has 5 of his top picks. I have 12 of my top picks. Every one of my picks was at the top of my list. That's a big bunch of BS. And I'm calling my conference the On Tilt Conference because I said I felt like I was on tilt the whole time. I apologize to the schools in my conference because that's not a very positive. That's certainly nothing like Steven's name. But I have the On Tilt Conference, but we would wipe the floor with everybody. That's my opinion. So, hey, we hope you all enjoyed watching this. We had a lot of fun doing it. And make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you check out Bill's channel. Make sure you check out Steven's channel. I'll put links in the description to this video. We thank you all for watching. With that, hey, we'll see you next time on the Big Mountain.